Now, if you want to learn about basketball, you don't come and talk to me. I don't know shit about basketball. I don't even know the rules. Hey, what's going on, guys? I wanted to shoot this video for you. I just stopped working with a client of mine maybe about, I don't know, an hour ago or so, and I had to drive, and I was thinking about how I would portray this to you guys. And what I was talking to him about, he's on his third business, and he's opening it up. But he's having a hell of a lot of trouble with fear, with anxiety. The reason behind it is he's had 2 businesses in the past that utterly failed. Now, I know a bit about the backstory, and he gave me the okay to share this with you guys. So, what the backstory is on this is that he is essentially a technician, and for technical work and such, working on cars, for him, he is a technician who has tried to open a business twice. That's exactly why it failed. You can't take somebody who's good at working on computers and tell them to go and manage a business. You can't take somebody who's good at working on cars and tell them to open a business. It doesn't work like that. Technicians almost always fail, and the percentage of businesses that make it anyway is relatively small to begin with. So the problem is that when you take somebody with technical skills and aptitude towards actually doing the task and you put them in a management persona or position, they normally fall flat on their face. Now, the reasoning behind this is that they've not been cultivated to be able to be in management. They don't know how to handle finances. They don't know marketing. They don't even understand how to really target a specific demographic. So, what I had him doing from the last time that we had talked is I put him onto a few specific books that were going to teach him what he had to know. And I also had him studying certain online personalities that were going to really be able to build up his intellect in the areas that he was lacking. Now, the reason that he's full of anxiety and full of fear right now, and I mean, he's a little bit of an older gentleman. I think he's 45 now. So for himself, he's got this fear that he's going to fail again. And now that he's looking into all of this information, you know, he's checking out Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then he's reading about the four type of archetypal personalities of the working man, whether it's somebody who owns a business or is self-employed, and there is a difference, or the consumers, which are essentially the employees, or the investors, and he's looking into these 4 types of personalities, and his mind is just getting blown by the different types of information that has come into his mind. Now, his father specifically taught him the best he could, like everybody's father does or everybody's mother does. We teach our kids the best that we can. The problem is that when you have a specific type of intellect, you have a specific knowledge base, you're not going to be able to share things with somebody that is at the level of what they're looking for if you don't have expertise in that area. So essentially what he's been doing is this, and this is why I got this broken mop with me. If we were to make a graph right here, and on this side was the amount of money you made, because money is just really easy to explain. On this side is how much money you made, and going out this way is what age you're at. Now, the problem is, and people do this throughout their entire lives with everything that they study, they look at the people they're surrounded by. Now, on this, if this were a graph, the reason I got this line right here coming up the graph is most people exist, if you were to plot them on a chart, most people exist all around this line, and there's different variants and such and how much money they have and the age, but it almost always corresponds to this line, which is essentially status quo, right? Now, the problem is that he has educated himself throughout his life by asking the people around him, by talking to his friends, by talking to his family. This is why both of his businesses failed, and also why his mind is being blown by these personalities I'm having him look into, as well as the intellectual level of the books, of which I'm recommending to him to read if he really wants to succeed this time. And he made a comment to me, and this is where this video comes from. He goes, "I'm 45 years old, you're 28 years old, why do you know what you know?" He's like, I should be teaching you, it shouldn't be the other way around. And I said to him, and I'm not going to use his name, but I said to him, here's the difference. You're 45 years old. You grew up in an era that was technically long before the information age. Now, as a younger, when you're younger growing up, it's not that you can't learn your entire life, but when you're younger, you're more palpable. You can absorb, I make words too. You can absorb information far more quickly than you can when you are an adult. It's just the way that it works. You can still learn, and you can still train yourself to learn, but it's much faster. So he grew up in an age where everything that permeated into his mind came from the people he was surrounded by. The problem is the people he was surrounded by were in this status quo. Growing up, I couldn't talk to my family about money. My family didn't have money. I can't talk to my friends about money. My friends didn't have money. The difference is that he was a little bit stuck. Now, he had libraries and stuff, but some people just wouldn't think to go and look at the library. So he would talk to the people around him. And he learned crap. What he learned from his father was go to school, get a degree, get a job. And that's what a lot of parents teach their kids. And that's great, and that works for some people. Others not so much. For business owners, that's not going to work. And to be honest, the business curriculum that you find in schools is a little shoddy sometimes. What you find is that the people who are most successful, and I'm not even going to talk about the billionaires, forget them, forget the 1%. I'm talking about the top 10%, okay? We'll just focus on the millionaires for this. When you focus on the millionaires, you find out a lot of them didn't even graduate high school, all right? Me, personally, I don't even have a degree in college. I have enough knowledge, I'm sure, to have a degree in many, many areas, but I don't have the piece of paper that says, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. So, I said to him, I said, the difference between you and me, I said, you grew up in an era where you were kind of stuck, hanging out with the people that you hung out with. You talked to people who didn't know about money, didn't know about investing, therefore you don't know about money, you don't know about investing. But you had the drive and the tenacity to go out and try to make this work, but you were working on a technician's skill set. You didn't have the skill set to be a manager or to be a business owner. I said the difference between you and I grew up in the information age. And because of the fact that I have drive and I know what I want in life, I go and I seek out these people who, when you plot them on this graph, are out here, right? They're the people who are so far from status quo, and they're rare. You start to look at the people way out of this line right here, the age and money rank, and you look at the people who have this much money, but they're only this old, right? And you study those people. Those are the people that I studied throughout my life. Whether it was people like, Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins or all these people that were able to become so successful at a relatively young age. How did they do it? That's a lot of the reason that I have the drive that I have, because in the information age, you're the reason you don't know things. Period. I mean, you have a phone. Almost everybody watching this has a phone or some form of device that you're watching this on that has access to the internet. You have complete and utter control of what you're looking up. So I told him, that's why I'm 28 years old and I know things that maybe you don't, and it's not a disrespectful thing, it's just I had access to stuff. Now, if you want to learn about basketball, you don't come and talk to me. I don't know shit about basketball. I don't even know the rules. What you want to do is get yourself in a personality with somebody like Michael Jordan or Shaquille O'Neal. They can probably tell you exactly in inches how long the basketball court is. They can tell you the type of rubber used on the ball. I mean, their knowledge and like how to throw a free throw, how to position your feet, how to flick your wrist. They're the people who know that. Now, the other problem is that when he was growing up without this information age, you couldn't really put yourself right beside these people to learn from them. But see, in the information age, which we are currently at, you can seek out these people and look up their biographies. You can look up exactly what it is and basically become their best friend, because all that information about these people who are plotted on this graph way outside the status quo is readily available to you at the end of a Google search or Bing or whatever the hell you want to use to search. And he's scared because he's looking at all this. He's like, I'm back to square one. He's like, it's like I'm back in high school learning from you. And he's like, it's all this information that if I had, I would have been fine, with the first business that I opened up. And he feels like he's at square one. I said, you're not. I said, you now have the experience, you now know how to deal with people, you've understood how to market a little bit, you've got some idea of the demographics you want to market to, you know how to work with people in terms of like social dynamics and getting people to buy into your product. I said, you actually have a lot of what you need. It's just the fact that now that you're looking on like social media marketing and what the hell else was he looking up? Social media marketing and finding investors to be able to open up a brick and mortar location and where to place it and all this kind of stuff. It just blows his mind because he's like, I wish I knew this before, and it unnerves him because now he's really looking and seeing how much he didn't know. So anyways, guys, I want to share that with you. Here's my little graph. I hope you like it. I don't know if you can see the points anymore because I didn't draw them too well, but anyways, if you like this kind of information, subscribe, thumbs up the video. It all helps, and share it with anybody who needs to hear it. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you next time.